But something that probably anybody who was a kid in the 70s
Mm-hmm.
would know this.
Okay.
Before I read the story here, I'm going to play a little bit of the song
Okay.
because you'll know it immediately.
All right.
All right, here we go. I can think of as super host doing
Right.
this. All right. So why do I bring this up?
I don't know.
In January of 1976, Peter Criss wrote a song called No, that's
Oh, I was going to say, but he didn't play drums because they're not a real instrument.
exactly no. In January of 1976, the Billboard Hot 100 featured the unlikely chart topper for the week of January 10th, 1976. That's 50 years ago, Chris. The novelty hit Convoy was the number one song 5 weeks in a row
All right.
after making its debut on the chart in December and after making a surprise crossover from country music charts. Now, what do you know about this song Convoy at all?
I know my dad had it on whatever 8-track it was on because I heard it every time I got in his truck for like 10
right.
years.
Sure. The song was created by a fictional musician by the name of C.W. McCall. Did you realize this guy was not C.W. McCall?
The original AI, apparently.
I was not aware of this either. Who was better known by his real name and occupation, advertising executive Bill Fries.
Okay.
The C.W. McCall character was originally created by Fries for an old homebred company advertising campaign per Stereo Gum. In the ads narrated by the ad man, C.W. McCall was a bread-loving trucker. The bread ads earned Fries a coveted Clio Award.
Okay.
So C.W. McCall was just a character.
All right.
Fries collaborated with Mannheim Steamroller founder Chip Davis on Convoy, which is credited to the two of them and the fictional C.W. McCall. But Fries didn't actually sing the track. Instead, he narrated and talked on a simulated CB radio as he played the truck driver who went by the handle of the rubber duck. The lyrics were actually a CB conversation between a team of truckers driving cross country amid a challenging time for the trucking industry. Convoy was filled with trucker code words on the CB or CB slang rather, and served as a protest song against government regulations that were set at the time. In 2011, Fries spoke about the inspiration for the song during an interview with the Bigfoot Diaries. Now that the interstate highway at the time where you were at could run at 75 on all of them, Fries recalled, but now they had declared by etiquette that it was going to be 55 nationwide. When that happened, the truckers got kind of up in arms. I always kind of identified with truckers with the stuff I was doing, and Chip and I went out to see what was going on out on the highways.
Right.
Now, do you remember when they dropped the speed from 70 to 55?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That it stayed 55 all the way into the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then they finally started increasing the interstate speeds again.
Well, it's because nobody was driving 55 by the end.
Right. But they were claiming that this was a fuel savings thing.
Right. Of course.
The truckers were forming things called convoys, and they were talking to each other on the CB radio. He continued. They had this jargon. Chip and I bought ourselves CB radios and went out to hear them talk. We said, why don't we write a song about a fictitious convoy that stretches clear across the country, breaks all the rules, and exceeds the newly imposed speed limit? Chip and I got to sound kind of militaristic and rebellious in tone. We completed the project and sent it off to MGM. Fueled by the CB radio craze at the time, the song was everywhere in 1976. Freeze even performed Convoy on an episode of the daytime talk show, The Mike Douglas Show, that year.
Wow.
In 1977, Freeze was contacted about making the song into a movie of the same name. The Sam Peckinpah film Convoy was released in 1978 and starred Chris Christopherson as McCall. We had to write new lyrics to the original song to fit the movie script, Freeze said. Chris Christopherson and Ally McGraw were in the lead, but it also starred Ernest Borgnine. It actually came out a little bit late. Smokey and the Bandit came out before that and got all the attention as far as the CB radio thing.
Right.
Freeze once called Convoy an anthem for truckers. I think truckers are the greatest people on earth, he told Landline magazine. I've seen them out on the highway doing things you wouldn't believe, taking care of people and helping people out. They're just great guys and women too. Freeze died in 2022 at the age of 93.
Oh, 93. Jeez, he got it all in.
Yeah, he did. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Sure. So we're at the 50-year mark for that song?
Yeah, it came out this week.
That
Today. It
is
came out
craziness.
50 years ago today.
Wow. Man, we are getting old in a
Yeah, I know.
rapid fucking hurry. Holy smokes, are we getting old?
Yeah. So anybody who was around during that time remembers Convoy.
Yes, they do.
It was a huge, huge deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
And coming, being that my dad was in the trucking industry and your dad was in the trucking industry, that was very familiar.
Sure.
For both of us,
Mm-hmm.
because I bought my first CB when I was, I think 12 or 13.
12?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had one because my dad gave me one. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember me and him sitting at the kitchen table with like wire cutters and stuff because it was like a car CB.
Okay.
But of course we were trying to figure out how to make it that I could plug it in somehow into the house. And we had wires all taped together and harnesses that he bought at Radio Shack. And we made it work.
Well, I had to get a power pack because the CBs were designed for vehicle where you plug it into the cigarette lighter.
Right.
So I had to get a power pack, a 12-volt transformer.
Sure.
So I could run mine, and then I had the cable run out the window and up to an antenna.
Right.
And everybody in the neighborhood had CBs too, so it was sort of like a neighborhood thing.
Right. Yeah. Did you have a scanner too?
No, I did not have a scanner.
I had a scanner as well. At some point, not at the same time, but at some point, I think my dad took back the CB because he caught me like saying mean things or stupid things on the CB. Like I was just like saying all the stupid bullshit jargon. Like there's bears in the air over 271 south. I was saying all kinds of stupid shit.
You were giving false bear reports.
I was, and my dad heard it because he was driving and he heard his dumb son saying stupid things, and he came in and yanked it right out of my room.
Yeah, you're spreading disinformation.
Yeah, what the CB.
Chris was one of the earliest ones to be spreading disinformation.
I was. You know what was the good thing about CB, and most people probably don't know this. You may know this, you may not. If you turned your CB on in the middle of the night, that shit was the original sexting. Like you would turn it on and you would hear some truck driver like sex talking some other trucker lady or something.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You'd hear it all the time. You turn on like 2 a.m. and instead of hearing, "Hey, this is the wild stallion looking for bulldog" or whatever, you'd hear, "Are you sucking my dick, honey?" And I would turn it real low so that hoping that my mom and dad wouldn't hear, and I would turn it on and I'd be like almost hugging the stupid thing so I could hear these guys talking shit about getting laid and whatever.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the original CB radios? How many channels they had?
The only ones I ever remember was the 23.
There you go.
Was it the 23?
23, and then the next one
the 40
came out to 40. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I had the one my dad gave me was the 23.
Right.
And then
Do you remember what brand it was?
What was that brand that they sold at Radio Shack? Because that was my dad's stop. Was that Audio Vox or something?
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, it was. Or whatever they sold it at. My dad thought that the fucking Radio Shack was just the greatest store ever.
Yeah.
Kind of like I am with Best Buy. I know
Right.
Best Buy has mostly trash, but I don't care. I love to go there. I love to go there and look. I will look at 700 TVs knowing that, like, let's say I have $500 to buy a TV. You better believe I am going to turn on every TV that ranges from $300 to $3,000. Even though there's no chance I'm going to buy that $3,000 TV, I will sit there and fuck with it all day long. Just because I love to play with the gadgets and stuff.
Right.
It's fun.